What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Empower Show. I'm your host, Marquise Brayton, and my co host.
Donzelay Powell.
We are always excited to be with you each and every week. And yes, it's a brand new season. We did take a little break off, as you learned in our very first episode of the month. And so we are back and we are bringing you some valuable content that's going to help you in your life, help you in your health. Those of you who are entrepreneurs, help you as an entrepreneur and in your business. And we're just also going to have just a little bit fun sometimes on these episodes. Today, we want to talk to you about your health. We want to talk to you about your nutrition. And we have a very special guest. But before we get into that, Donzale, how has your week been over the past week or so?
Week's been great. Pretty productive. Just kind of cranking through some things right now, but yeah, everything's good.
I've
You?
been seeing you posting around your workouts and things. So you are, I know you always work out, but it seems like you might be turning it up a notch here and there or something.
Yeah, I'm trying. Trying to get that energy back up. But yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I've been doing the same thing. Just making sure that I get into the daily routine of working out. Interesting enough, I had a birthday, of course, in May, but I've been feeling some things I've never felt before. My
Good thing.
knees, I got a little pain in my hip. I'm like, what is going on? I hadn't been feeling any of this stuff. Just a year older, but things are still going good. I'm making it in that gym each and every morning, at least 5 mornings out of the week. So, but speaking of working out, health, and all of that, today we want to talk about nutrition and how it can optimally help you. As far as the title for today, if you want to have a topic, we're going to be talking about unlocking your body's potential, the power of nutrition for optimal health. And our guest today is someone who I've had as a trainer over my journey of my health journey, and someone I met, I think it's been about 6, 7 years ago now. And at the time, he was really just getting started as well, and had his own facility, and somebody who has just been known as a health and physical fitness expert.
Mm-hmm.
However, recently I've noticed he has been talking a lot about nutrition and even changing aspects of his diet. And I've always known him as, a big, bulky guy, but I've noticed he's leaned out more and just really doing some things differently. And so his name is, and I want to get this right because he used to always correct me around his last name. So I'm going to see if I can say it right today after all these years. His name is Kevin Bazile. Kevin Bazile. He is a trainer, he's a gym owner, he has a lot of clients here in the Nashville area. And, I just know him as a great person. He and his wife train clients together and they're in business together. And they're just some great people here in the Nashville area. So we're going to go ahead and bring in our guest, Donzale, Mr. Kevin Bazile.
Right, got it right. Kevin Bazile.
Look, I know Kevin used to correct me all the time. I was like, "What am I saying?" I thought I was saying it right.
Well, I mean, I was getting your name wrong as well. Mark Braden.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, Kevin, I gave a brief introduction of you, but go ahead and let everyone know a little bit more about yourself and how you show up in the world.
Yeah, so name is Kevin Bazile, co-founder of 80/20 Fitness, which now it's 80/20 Movement.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know, I never thought of myself as, I guess growing up, you don't know exactly what entrepreneurship is.
Mhm.
You're like, okay, I need money. I need money. So, I mean, I dabbled in different things as a kid. Fell in love with football, and God
Mm.
revealed to me that football is just not my calling.
Mm.
So, after playing a little bit of football at TSU, And then just having to put my hat up on that, it was a struggle. Like instead of me getting a therapist, I turned to food,
Oh
and I
wow.
gained a lot of weight. Um,
Mm.
it made me look at my family in a different light. As a
Okay.
kid, you don't look at your family as overweight. You just like, man, they can throw it out in the kitchen.
That's true.
And me being from New Orleans, like I was eating a lot of unhealthy foods, and when being physically active was not in my life, like I turned to food. I gained a lot of weight, and I just felt uncomfortable. And I mean, really seeing what other people felt on a regular basis really brought me to changing my habits. So I cut off processed foods, fast foods, lost the weight, and I felt really good. And I really want to just pay it forward to my family. So I started off
Mhm.
my mother, and
Yeah.
at the time that was the worst decision because she did not take it serious.
Okay.
Um, but it took time, but not only did she really take her health serious, when she wound up losing 80 pounds, she decided to go back to school. And now
Hmm.
she's currently in nursing school in her 50s, which is truly amazing. So it's like really looking at fitness in a different light. It's not just about exercising, it's
Hmm.
not just about eating healthy, it's really a way of life.
Yeah.
Like you're able to build confidence and do things that you never, dreamed you could do. So, yeah, that's where I am. And right now, my next goal is, and I want to be a billionaire. So,
Okay. All right. That's good. So let's hop right on in to talk about this whole idea of unlocking your body's potential through nutrition, right? Because so many of us, we see Instagram and we see TikToks, and, folks are, always talking about working out and the gym
yeah.
and muscles and physique, but you rarely really hear those people talk about the nutrition aspect. And one of the things on my journey, I realized that, yeah, I was working out, but then I go to Taco
Mhm.
Bell, or then I go get me a smoothie from Smoothie King that had, you know 20 grams of sugar in it.
54
Right, or
on average,
54
54.
grams,
Yeah.
yeah. And not knowing that I could say, hey, don't put in the turbinado, don't put in this, just give me the fruit, the ice, and the Greek yogurt, right? So,
Yeah.
what really was the inspiration? Because like I said, I noticed that you made a transition in becoming more lean
Uh-huh.
versus being more bulky. So, what really was that inspiration?
So, man, you always hear reverse engineer um, when you're talking about entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
And we rarely reverse engineer our entire life.
Hmm.
So when I say I want to be a billionaire, I also want to live to see 100.
Hmm.
And I ask myself, the things that I'm doing now, or maybe 2 years ago, is that going to get me to where I want to be? And the answer
Right.
was no. So I had to
Mm.
go back to the drawing board. I had to look at what are some things that I can do now that I would still be able to do as I age. And then I looked up the things that promote aging,
Okay.
and I was like, wow, like I have to cut off a lot of shit. Like, I'm sorry, can I
Mm.
curse?
Hey, be you. Be you.
So I had to cut off a lot of shit, and um, one of the things was meat,
Okay.
cutting off meat. Now,
Wow.
it's as you age, it's really hard to process meat.
Okay.
And I started off with just cutting out chicken and beef. And I saw a lot of benefits with that. Then I noticed that I still wasn't feeling my best.
Hmm.
So I decided to go cold turkey on fish for 1 month.
Okay.
And I wound up doing it for an entire year. And
Mhm.
that is how I started to really lean out, along with eliminating processed foods. Because if you go back to history and really think about processed foods and where it derives from, I mean, it started back in World War One, where they had to feed the troops. and they were making a whole bunch of processed foods. I mean, the soldiers were surviving, but they looked at it as, wow, this could be a huge business
Mm.
money maker, and
Okay.
that's where the processed foods arrive. And now people are, skewing the nutritional facts. Um, there are certain laws that you can actually put uh, misinformation on the nutritional facts, and now you're looking at it
Mm.
like, okay, I'm maybe eating this amount of sugar, but really it's much more than that.
Yeah.
So I cut off all processed foods. I'm meaning foods that are in a bag, a can, um, even the granola bars that you would think is healthy, like cutting off that. And it took some time, but I noticed my body, my mind started to change, and that really fueled where I am today. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, so I mean, first of all, I love that you kind of explained that about the processed foods and kind of where that came from. So I've known for some years, of course, they say go around the outskirts of the grocery store, try to stay out of the middle to avoid a
Yeah.
lot of those products that obviously are either highly processed. I people joke, they call me the nutrition Nazi, just for the point of I am a label reader. Now, like
Yeah.
you just said, now it's kind of being finagled a little bit. So even
Mm.
with that, you do the best that you can. But yeah, that's one of the first things. Grab it, look at it, say, what's included in this? What are all these extra ingredients that I
Yeah.
have no clue what it is? These words that are a mile long scare me. So yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate you talking about that.
Nah, I mean, when you think about, like I always try to look at it from an entrepreneur standpoint. Like a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs, and it's like as an entrepreneur, in order for you to get to point A to point B and point C, it's not a lot of work. It's like the little things that count, right? And let's say that you've been on a health journey for a long time, and
Hmm.
you're still eating, processed foods, granola bars, things that are considered healthy. It's like that one piece is preventing you from maybe seeing the rest of your six pack or maybe leaning out your arms. Like it's like those little things. If you cut it off for just 1 month, I promise you, you can be like, what?
I know
Wow.
that's it. I know
It
that's
is.
true. I know it's true
It's
because I'm
absolutely
like,
true.
I've been so close. I've been so like close enough to be able to at least see the lines. I'm like,
Yeah.
why can't I get it all the way there? And then the
Yeah.
next thing I know, I'm eating hostess something, or I've gotten really good to the point where um I'm not eating as much sugar or sweets,
Yeah.
but I still haven't completely uh, taken it out. And one of the things I keep seeing over and over again is a challenge around no sugar for 30 days. And
Yeah.
my thought process around that is everything has sugar in it, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw the trend, the fad of people going like no sugar for 30 days. And I was like, okay, I've abused my body so much, I might as well just go a full year. So I started this back in 2021. I was like, okay,
Wow.
I'm not going to eat no sugar. I guess it was like, I said processed foods, but I was
Okay.
really talking about like just snacks, desserts, and stuff like
Mm,
that. Because
Mhm.
as a kid, I always had my dinner, and then afterwards I would have a dessert.
okay.
Like just a thing that
Yes,
I
that's
mean,
just natural, right?
it's just natural.
Yeah.
Like wow, cutting it off for an entire year. It was hard at first,
Hmm.
but I want to say 6 months in, once I started to see my body was really changing,
Hmm.
and I was able to like really see consistent results. The the last 6 months of the year was, I don't want to say it was easy, but I could wrap my mind around it because the 6 months prior was like really me breaking bad habits.
Right.
Mhm.
So, question about that though. When you say no sugar,
Uh
we're
huh.
talking about like processed, like because like fruit. If you're eating fruit, it
Yeah.
has a natural sweetness to it, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So I would eat fruit,
Okay.
but I would stay away from like pineapples or mangoes, like stuff that has that's super sweet,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it would still give me that same benefit as eating dessert. Like my thing
Okay.
was, and man, I would go to Chrissy Cookies every weekend. Like
Oh, don't
I
talk
would
about
work
it.
hard, super hard during the week, and then over the weekend, man, I would
Yeah.
get a dozen and
Don't talk
yeah.
about it. Don't talk about that oatmeal raisin and toffee cookie. Oh my God. Ooh. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're supposed to be talking about optimal health. So, and so that's about sugar. So one of the things that they talk about is, removing, sugar. Uh,
Mhm.
when it comes to, one of the things I've been doing during my workout process that's really been helpful for me to keep the weight off is intermittent fasting.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about intermittent fasting and how it can assist people in reaching their optimal health with their nutrition?
Yeah. So I mean, intermittent fasting is probably one of the longest protocols that I've used when it comes to health. I think I've told you about that, Marquis, like
Mm-hmm.
7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I mean, I've been doing it ever since. But I think back then I was more of an extremist.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not eating for 16 hours. My feeding window is 8 hours. And it was like that worked out. But as you continue to grow, age, your body continues to change. So,
Mm.
as I'm picking up more weight, heavier lifting, I actually needed to shorten that fasting window. So now I'm doing a 12-12. But the whole premise of intermittent fasting is to give your body time to rest and absorb the
Mm-hmm.
nutrients from the foods that you're eating. When you're eating throughout the entire day, you're not able to break down the foods. And if it's not being released, it's just sitting there. And it doesn't feel well. I mean, as
Mm-mm.
human beings, we've condition our bodies to hold waste.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to the point where you've been on the journey for a while and you're like, okay, I can't lose that last little pudge, that's really just waste. It's waste that wants to be released, but it really takes just a little bit more of discipline. So, but man, intermittent fasting, I would say that has truly changed my life.
Yeah.
So with Donzale's Photography, we specialize in helping you bring out you. One thing that I've noticed, people can be scared, intimidated about doing a shoot, especially if it's the first time. I've modeled before, done acting, the whole nine. So if you need help with that, I'm gonna coach you through the whole thing. I'm gonna tell you how to pose, make you look real cute. And then by the time you get your images, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, that was me, I did that. So I love doing that for people. I love bringing out you. So just make sure that you check us out. We'd be happy to work with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a couple of things. So circling back to you, when you all were talking about kind of that tipping, I guess the tipping point and how the little things matter so much. So I just wanted to circle back to that real quick before I move on.
Mhm.
So you all know I'm very typically very transparent about my up and down journey. Like this has been my whole life of, you know, I love working out and I also love food. So, sometimes I have those back and forths. But like when you mentioned the little things, and this is how I know for sure it's true. Like I know for myself, when I get to where I'm not drinking coffee and not drinking it because I know that I need cream in it, I know I'm on. Like if that version of Donzale is rolling, ain't no stop. I'm so focused. This is what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And then when I start having it again, it start like, oh, I love the taste of this so I know I'm going down the wrong road. So I appreciate you mentioning that because sometimes people think it's got to be these big things. I've got to completely this, but it truly is those itty bitty things that just add up over time, day to
Yeah.
day, that little bit of cream. And then how much is that a week? How much is that a month of pounds that, kind of tack on, especially for women, for the ladies. Um, and then too, so Markeith did it talk to me about the intermittent fasting a while back, and I tried it for a minute. I'm gonna try again. I really got to get it into the routine.
Mhm.
So let's use me as this test subject, and I'm gonna try this out, and I'm gonna make sure y'all are correct on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So let's say for you, you started off with intermittent fasting. I have three different protocols that I preach to my clients.
mhm,
It's really picking the right timing for you.
Mhm.
So if you haven't done intermittent fasting before, or if you've done it and you wasn't consistent, you want to start off with something that you can truly wrap your mind around. The version that I would start you off with is the 12-12, where your feeding window is 12 hours and your fasting window is 12 hours. So that looks like, let's say if you start eating at 8 a.m., you would cut off eating at 8 p.m. And I mean, that's something that you can wrap your mind around because most people, they want to eat in that way, but maybe they go out and they have a few drinks and then they eat late and it becomes a thing. But if you know, okay, I can discipline myself to cut it off at 8, or if you know that you're going to be out late, maybe move your window up a little bit. So if you're going to be out to 10, maybe start eating at 10 instead of 8. Like it's really it's flexible with your lifestyle,
Mhm.
but you is really making sure that you stick with that parameter.
Yeah.
Now, when you're embarking on any new journey, it's like you don't want to overload yourself.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, in the past, I would do everything because I was super motivated. But it's like, how long will that motivation last before you fall off the wagon? So what I've created is called compounding habits, right? So compounding habits is you taking one habit and you're doing the bare minimum and allowing that habit to grow within the month, right?
Okay.
And from there, the next month after you finish 28 days of completing that habit, you're not only consistent, more consistent, but you've built your confidence to tackle on more, right? So I started off, and I started this back in 2022, where I was like, okay, I have all these goals and everything that I want to accomplish. But I know that it's not going to happen overnight. It may not even happen in a year. But what's an easier way that I can go about this and it really build some healthy habits? So I started this back in December of 2021.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'm cutting off sweets for 1 month. I didn't have a name for it. I was just like, I'm just gonna do it for 1 month. And when I did it for 1 month, it was like my body changed so much. within 1 month. And I'm like, how did that happen? I've been working out for years.
You get me
So
excited over here.
yeah, I'm like, I'm seeing results within 1 month. And it's like if you've been doing the leg work, working out for years, like your body's already conditioned. The
Yeah.
only thing is missing is the nutrition.
Yeah.
So when I cut off the sweets, I started seeing results, and then in 2022, it was like, okay, I'm gonna go cold turkey, and I just want to cut it off. Um, so when I cut it off for the entire year, I started implementing other habits. So that second month, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop eating beef and chicken. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I can do that. And then it went from making sure that I'm eating more fruits and vegetables. And
Mhm.
then, like, over time, each month was a different habit.
Yeah.
And it compounded to the point where I don't second guess or think about the habits that I want to live each day. It's just
Yeah.
a part of me. It's a part
That's
of
good.
my identity. Um,
And I think for me, I started out working out. I work out in the mornings. The later it gets, the less I'm going to go to the gym. So I have to go in the
yeah.
mornings. And so for me, I started out working out fasted before I
Yeah.
did the intermittent fasting. And so I would work out fasted and I would not eat until after my morning workout. And then I said, okay, I'll move it to 12 because I do the 16-hour right now. So I
Okay.
try to finish eating by 8 and I won't have my first meal until about 1.
Okay.
And so that's my 16 hours. But it's such a habit now that even if I eat at 10, I still won't eat until 3 because
Yeah.
I'm so used to doing the 16 hours. So I'm disciplined enough to say, okay, well, I ate later today, so I can't eat until my full 16 hours have passed by. Because I know
Yeah.
some people do and it's amazing to me. And we'll move on to a one last topic, and that's about water. But there's one guy I follow on Instagram. He does the 1 meal a day, but he's
Uh-huh.
huge. And I'm like, how in the world is he still so muscular, but still only eating 1 meal a day?
Yeah.
Like, how are you getting all of your nutrients in 1 meal every day? What are your thoughts around the 1 meal a day?
So I've tried that before. I've seen results, but I don't think it's sustainable.
Okay.
Um, I mean, within one sitting, you're not able to eat a day's worth of calories. Like
Hmm.
that is extremely hard. And with intermittent fasting, one of the cool benefits, it suppresses your appetite.
Hmm.
So at the longer you do it, it's like you're transitioning your body not to overeat.
Okay.
So when I was doing it, I was hungry, but it was really my mind saying eat.
Hmm.
So I would put a whole bunch of food on my plate, but I would only eat half.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it was just like I can't continue to do this because I'm not eating enough. I'm losing muscle. So I mean, the guy that you see that's building muscle, he's definitely using something to aid in his muscle growth
Okay.
um, with that 1 meal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we could definitely be here all day long, and Kevin, we may just have to have you on again. But the importance of water as part of this whole journey of optimal health, why is hydration and water so important to your progress to optimal health?
So man, I love this question. Um, as a trainer, um, it's like we have to tell our clients to drink water.
Mm.
And I mean, I only looked at it through one lens. Like, water is important because your body is made up of 70% of water. But when you think about the other benefits that water is good for, it's like, wow. Um, so when I started thinking about like really um, like shrinking my waist, I really thought about like, okay, let's really think of what are the benefits of, or what can aid in a smaller ways. And water was at the top of the list.
Mm,
Um, if you're not drinking enough water, you're not having you're not going to have more consistent bowel movements.
mm,
And I didn't know that I wasn't having enough. But when I started drinking, I drank two 24-ounce cups of water each morning. Oh man, like I'm talking about, it's like clockwork. And I'm being real, but I'm telling you, like as I started to use the bathroom more, I started seeing my waist shrink.
okay.
And it was just like, wow, okay. Along with drinking water, it clears your skin, um, and then also with not only drinking water, but pairing it with um, like I would say watermelon. Like you can put a watermelon in your cup of water, cucumbers. Like that really helps. Just provide more benefits.
Okay.
Um, because water, I mean, depending on where you get it from, it may not be the best source.
Got it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it really helps out. Water is, and if you don't do anything else health wise, please drink water.
Donsley, how are you with water?
I'm pretty good. I could get be better right now. I had got to where I was fairly consistent with being almost around a gallon. I'd say right now I'm more in the 90 ounce. So I'm not quite back there yet, but
Mm,
I do pretty good. And I like to put I like ginger. So I cut up ginger a lot of times and we'll put that in there. Something just to give a little slightly different something. And like you
yeah.
said, cucumber, sometimes stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, at the end of every show, we always like to leave with a positive quote or thought. But I want to ask you, could you leave us with, what are your top 3 to 5 tips that people should do every day when considering their meals, to have optimal health, that they can start developing the right habits with? And so, what would be some of those 3 to 5 tips?
Right. So I'm actually go against the grain. Um, I'm not going to talk about nutrition. I'm not going to be talking about physical movement. It really starts here. Like if your mind is not in the right space, like you're not going to accomplish living a healthy lifestyle. So
Hmm.
every morning, I get up and I make sure that I take care of myself. Right? I meditate, I
Hmm.
pray, I read, I write, I do yoga. Like that is my time to really just put my mind and my body in a good space to really be super beneficial in the world. I think in the past I was more of a just doer and really serving others, but forgetting about myself. So I would say the first thing is really take care of yourself. First thing in the morning. Two is to dream big and don't be afraid. Um, like I remember when I was training you, Markeith, I was it's kind of awkward.
Hmm.
um, I always had this overly ambitious mindset, but I was afraid to show it.
Hmm.
And it was like, why am I being afraid? It's really holding me back. So along with taking care of myself, really figuring out my true identity in the world, it was really enhancing this ambition that I can do much more and not be afraid. So that's number two. And then the last one is to develop a great team.
Okay.
Um, I don't, I mean, in the 7 years of being in business, it has been just Jade and I. And I'm like, okay, I have all these ideas, but I can't, it's just two people. Two people with a dream, Um, and again, it's still two people. So, along with having these big visions for 80/20 movement, we are really crafting up a team to tackle the different components of 80/20 fitness. You may not see it now, but at some point, you'll see what we've been working on. And man, it's like, I wish I'd done this a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
good. Thank you
that's
for
my,
those tips. Well, let the people know how they can follow you and get in contact with you if they desire training, or I know you all do classes. Let the people
yeah.
know how
So
they can do that.
if you are interested in signing up for training, you can find us on Instagram, 80_20 fitness, Facebook, 80/20 fitness, and our website is 8020fitnessnashville.com. Um, we have changed up our system completely. We understand not all clients are our clients, um, but the process that we've created is really giving people sustainable results over a long period of time. And man, we're truly proud about that. So if you're interested and you're ready to take it serious, come on, we're ready for you.
Well, Kevin, thank you for your expertise. We appreciate you being part of today's episode all around optimal health, unlocking your health potential, practical tips, and strategies. Bazile, any final words for today?
No, this was good. I think health and wellness is always a good topic. I mean, we always need those reminders, to kind of stay on top of it.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for joining us for this episode of the Empower Show. And just remember this: always shoot for the top, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Take care.